Hey everybody, this is Bob with Macro Chef Meal Plans and Catering, and welcome to our first episode of Ask the Chef. We sent out an announcement on our social media saying, hey, ask us some questions, kind of a mix of professional cooking questions, anything you want to know about food, about Macro Chef, about Chef Bob. But we're gonna start answering some of these, and hopefully you guys will keep sending them in for us. Don't ever hesitate. You got something you want to know, just DM us on Instagram or send us a Facebook message, an email. You could be in one of the next episodes. So you'll hear off camera the questions coming from Jessica, our director of marketing, and Logan, our videographer. They refuse to be on camera and just make me do it. You'll at least hear their voices as they're asking questions. So why don't we get to it?
All right, first one. What is your favorite meal to cook?
Well, my favorite Macro Chef meal to cook is probably actually some of the vegan dishes. Our pad thai, our kimchi fried rice, that's a lot of fun where we can do something vegan, raw, but really kind of put some great flavors with it. My favorite dish to cook at home if I'm eating naughty is actually pasta carbonara. I always joke and say I'm half German, half Polish, and just wish I was all Italian. Most of my cooking background is Italian. Make my own pasta and then make a great carbonara sauce to go with it.
What are macros?
Macros are macronutrients, and they're the three main nutrients that we look at when we're looking at food. So that's our protein, our fat, and our carbs. And all of those are important, need some of each. Everybody's kind of different on what they require depending on their training goals, but you'll see like on all of our meals, on all of our labels, that we call out the protein, the carb, the fat, overall calories, and also net carbs. So
We had a great question about chicken. How do you make sure that you cook it right, but you don't dry it out?
yeah, nothing worse than dried out overcooked chicken. So we actually have a whole process that we use in the kitchen. We're doing hundreds and hundreds of pounds of chicken at a time, and we hand cut everything. So what we do is we hand cut all the chicken to be roughly the same size, breast number one, and then number two, we kind of group it according to size so that we know that everything's kind of cooking evenly. It goes on the grill to get char grilled, and then we actually finish it in the oven. That oven is an indirect heat, so it helps to kind of cook everything evenly, which keeps it from getting too dried out, too tough. And by having everything kind of grouped according to size, it ensures that everything's cooking evenly, where we don't have a little piece of chicken that's getting torched while we have a big piece of chicken that is still only half cooked. Nothing worse than medium rare chicken. That might be the one thing that's worse than overcooked chicken. So that's kind of how we do it to make sure that everything's consistent.
Why should I meal prep both as an athlete and as maybe a regular, everyday person that goes to the gym?
Well, what's the old saying? Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. I think that's really what it comes down to, is make life as easy as you can, especially if you're serious about training, about being healthy, being in shape. We're all busy. It's really easy to get behind on things. I mean, even I have to on Sundays get my own meals ready for the week and have them all set up and ready to go, because it does take time. And when you're on the go, a meeting pops up, you want to just be ready.
What are your go-to knives, and what 3 knives do you think should be in every kitchen?
Well, I have very fancy tastes. So my go-to knives are Mac knives. They're MAC. They're actually Japanese. And one of the reasons why I like them is they're very strong, but very lightweight, number one. And number two, I'm a left-hander living in a right-hander's world. And most knives, the way they're sharpened and the edge is set, it's for right-handers. And Mac knives are actually set up to be ambidextrous, so I can keep a sharper edge on my knife as I'm cutting. And I think the 3 main knives that you need, you want a good chef's knife, something that's really comfortable in your hand, probably about 10 inches, not too long, not too short, a boning knife, and a paring knife. Those 3 knives should accomplish pretty much anything that you need done.
Do you like sports? What would be your favorite sport, and what teams do you like?
Yeah, big sports fan, don't have nearly enough time to watch, but college football is really it for me. In fact, I still have Louisville Cards season tickets for football, so most weekends in the fall you'll find me a couple hours away in Kentucky at Cardinal Stadium.
A lot of the meals that you offer have some pretty unique flavors. How do you stay on trend with flavors and come up with new meals?
That comes from a variety of sources. I mean, number one, I have 20 years experience to draw on, so I kind of know some things that work and some that don't. Also, just a lot of studying and a lot of homework. I study the competition. I study a lot of the trends throughout the country, period. I really look to restaurants quite a bit and the industry overall. We can see kind of from the coasts what's working its way in, what's new, what's hot. I talk to my suppliers. I find out what are the new exciting things that they have coming in. And then finally, I know I get to have all the fun, but I'm not the only one doing this. We actually have our other chef and our culinary director, Chef Chris, who has years and years of experience as well. He brings a lot of knowledge, a lot of creativity to everything we do. So between the two of us working together and pulling from all these different sources, it allows us to have a lot of fun.
What is your favorite kind of food to eat?
Oh, pizza. Just give me all the pizza.
Italian in general?
Italian in general, yeah, but I mean really pizza. Like cheap pizza, artisan pizza, anything. That's kind of my go-to.
All right, let's talk seasonal vegetables. So what, as just regular people, should we be looking for? Like what's coming out in spring and summer that we should be adding to our meals?
In this day and age, everything's kind of available all the time quite a bit, but when we kind of look at what's traditionally seasonal, asparagus is always big in the spring. If we want to get really fancy, let's look at some ramps, some fiddlehead ferns, morel mushrooms. There's a lot of fun stuff in the spring. Spring is, I think, the best season for all these different flavors.
What would you tell an aspiring chef?
Get a business degree. Culinary school is great, you know, but honestly, I think if you want to be a chef in this day and age, get a business degree, learn how to read a P&L, learn how to manage your costs, and then go work for great chefs and get paid. Even if you're not getting paid much, get paid to learn and paid to train. You know, culinary school itself is fantastic, but it's a ton of money, and you do something once or twice and then go out into the world. When you're in a real live kitchen, you're doing a lot of repetitive stuff. And before you burn tens of thousands on culinary school, get some real world experience and see if it's actually something you enjoy. Make sure you have a real passion for it. It's not a career that's easy if you don't have the love. Finally, find some balance. It's real easy to spend every night, weekend, and holiday in the kitchen. Make sure you're balancing what you do.
What you do is an art. So how do you handle it when people don't like a dish or a meal that you put out?
I cry. No, you know, it can be easy to take that personally. But throughout the years, I've just learned that number one, not everybody's gonna love everything. Some dishes that I come up with, I think, it's okay, and it's some of the most popular ones. Some dishes that I think are just off the charts, you know, only do okay. Not everybody's gonna love everything. That's all right. And then really be open to feedback and be open to constructive criticism. If it's just, well, you suck, well, that's not helpful. But a lot of times people, I mean, we've changed things. I've changed things throughout my career at every stop just based on feedback. It's really easy to let ego get in the way, and you don't want to do that. Just be humble, be open to constructive feedback, and ultimately, it's not about me, it's not about Chef Chris or any other chef, it's about the customer, whether it's a restaurant, a meal prep company. So just do what you can to make them happy.
The last one for me is chicken, rice, and broccoli the only prep option. You know, you see a lot of people that...
If you want to make gains, it is.
Right, that's exactly what I was going to say. You see a lot of people that are like, maybe they already prepped their own food. You can't see me, but I'm putting air quotes around prep their own food. Right, where they, you know, cook some chicken and some rice, and then that's what they're eating all week, and maybe they think that that's the only option. Again,
for some people that works, and for some people we can provide that, but it doesn't have to be the only option. There's a lot of ways to eat healthy, even when you're in full prep mode. There's still different seasonings you can use. I mean, we've created a lot of sugar-free, lower sodium, clean spice rubs and all that we use. Even just looking at cooking methods. I mean, I see so many people just Instapotting chicken breast, and it's just like this boiled pulled chicken and plain rice. Like, no, throw it on a grill, bake it, season it, do something. And I think that's really one of the things that has set us apart is we're looking at bringing more flavor to things while giving people what they need from a prep standpoint.
So let's talk a little bit about cookware. What should be in every kitchen from pots and pans to other types of cookware that you really recommend?
Well, you kind of nailed it, pots and pans. I mean, really, you don't have to have a million things, but you do want to have a good set of pots and saute pans of various sizes. You know, we don't need these big professional 8-gallon stock pots or 20-gallon stock pots, but you want to have a variety of sizes, and you want something that's heavy. Like the bottom of that pot, the bottom of that pan should be thick and heavy to properly conduct heat. We've already talked about knives. Knives are really the most important tool you've got. And then just some fun things. I mean, I use an immersion blender a lot. That's a fun little toy for me, for whipping up sauces, dressings, all that. When we want to emulsify something, like as we shoot some videos a little bit later on, we're gonna be doing a chimichurri. And you know, for emulsifying that chimichurri, making a good sauce, we want to use the immersion blender. Food processor's always great, but I think that's really, when we're looking at the basics, not about quantity, it's about quality. So one of the things we're gonna do, I actually stole this from Jeff Black. I have a couple go-to podcasts, and the Excellence Cartel with Jeff Black is one of my, every Wednesday morning when it drops, that's what I listen to doing cardio. So he does a little like 3-question speed round, and I said, hey, we're gonna steal that. So thank you, Jeff Black, for the idea, and thanks for an awesome podcast. I've got to keep my own time. This is how prepared we are.
All right, so you're gonna have the 45 seconds. I'll tell you when to go. We got about 10 this or that. I'm just gonna throw them at you. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, go. Tupac or Biggie?
Tupac, hit him up.
Hot or cold weather?
Hot.
Living in the north or the
South. Wasn't born here. Got here as quick as I could.
Beef or chicken?
Beef.
Dog or cat?
Dog.
Cardio or weights?
I actually enjoy both, but we'll go weights.
Okay. Apple or Android?
Apple.
Car or truck?
Truck.
TV or book?
I want to say book, but TV.
Netflix or Hulu?
Netflix.
Football or basketball?
Football.
Smash that. That's it.
I still got 6 seconds. Hit me.
You got it. Good job.
Story of my life. Well, if you've made it this far, thanks for watching. We hope that you'll continue to send us questions. This is a whole lot of fun. We're trying to start doing some things on a regular basis, make this a regular series. We've got a lot of new recipe videos coming out. So definitely want you to keep checking us out. And again, DM us on Instagram, Facebook message, email us any questions you have, and we'll make sure to answer them. You can follow us on Instagram at Macro Chef Meals, Facebook, macrochefmealplansandcatering.com, or you can email questions to support@macrochefmeals.com.